Well, welcome as always. It's so fun to be here with each and every one of you guys. Dr. Heidi and I, it's always so fun for the two of us to be together. And we wish you guys were with us.
Yeah, absolutely. It'd be a
We'll
whole lot
talk.
more fun,
It
even
would
though
be
we're
a lot
having a
more
great
fun.
time.
And you guys, at the end, we actually will talk about how you could spend some time with us. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah. Yeah, let's do it.
Absolutely loving it. Loving it. Well, today, you guys, Heidi and I have been having some chats and some with some of our clients and some, just really talking about overall wellness because we're really like saying, all right, it is the time to take control of our health, We're really talking about wellness. But some things that have come up that we're realizing is many people think they're practicing wellness principles and practice in a lifestyle, but inadvertently are getting stuck or hung up in trendy wellness
Yeah.
and not really true wellness.
Yeah. Or a little bamboozled that this is the true wellness because everything is. We have the pill for an ill for everything, right? We have a supplement for this. It's going to be the answer to all things, et cetera, et cetera. So we could have a little bamboozling of I'm doing the things.
I'm doing the
True
thing.
wellness or trendy wellness.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's so interesting is sometimes you may not really know, and because of that you might be frustrated, like, why aren't I feeling better? Why aren't I dropping the weight? Why aren't I'm doing the things? And I just had a conversation with somebody this morning, and she's changed her diet. She's trying to do better working out since January, so it's basically been a month, and zero weight loss. But she's living in fight or flight. She is running on cortisol like no tomorrow. So we talked about, you can't just get caught up on one thing, or I'm doing the thing. So if I'm doing the things, then everything should just work. Like, that's actually part of true wellness is no, like, we gotta get ourselves out of all of that.
Yeah.
So sometimes I even feel like I remember, when I lived in Orange County and I would go to yoga, I'm not really paying attention to anybody else because I'm there for me and this is my time and everything. But what I realized, if I let myself, or I just kind of observed, is some people were there to say they go to yoga or to put on their clothes for yoga. And because yoga is cool, like, oh, I go, right? And it wasn't to actually get the practice of yoga.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Great point.
Heidi, tell me, like, just some things that you're hearing or seeing, because and I want you guys to ask the question. So those of you that are with us live and can, like, drop in the chat a little bit, like, do you have a question on wellness? Do you think, like, is this real? Is this legit? Because again, just like last night, I was having a conversation with somebody and she's like, all of a sudden, I'm hearing about protein everywhere. So is it just like, is protein the latest fad? Is it real? I'm like, good question. Because I think that's what happens is we hear something everywhere all of a sudden. And is it real?
Yeah.
So there are topics that are real. Like, obviously, people need to really be eating protein. Another one, everyone's like, oh, what is this metabolic health and why is everybody wearing a glucose monitor? Now, I think most places in the world, people would still have no idea what I'm even talking about. But if you're in a little bit of an affluent area, a nice climate area, then people are a little bit like showing off their glucose monitors. But are you doing something with the data? True wellness isn't just like, oh, look at my sugars going up and down. It's using the data to integrate it into your health and your life versus, oh, I do it too.
Yeah. I love that, Kelly. And that's such a great point is, are we using the information we're gathering? So there's all this information out there. And when we personalize it, right? When we say, is this information, do I have to do it? Because you get that impression, like, if you're not having this much protein, and I'll be the first to say it, I'm like, if you're not having this much protein, but again, not everything is for everybody. So the real true wellness is deciding what's in it for me without that selfish thing, but does it apply to me? And is this data something I can incorporate, integrate, into my body and create health. And I loved your point that you said, you can eat all the right stuff, you can be exercising, you could be getting pretty decent sleep. But if you are stressed to the hilt, it will not change anything. Nothing will change. Your weight won't change. Your mindset won't change. You have to get all the triggers. And once the synergy gets going, then it makes changes. Then you have the shifts. Then you experience true wellness and health and wonderful aging. It can happen, but we have to attend to all these little things. It's not just one thing.
Yeah. And, for everybody out there, there's obviously this whole like fight or flight or freeze, or, talking about like rest and digest, or how do you stay calm, and do you just meditate? And it goes way beyond, meaning you do need this downtime and calm. And today's not the podcast that will go into like all the modalities to say, activate your vagus nerve, but there's a point of it that you have to do some personal work. There's another point of it that maybe you really need to go seek medical help and have a therapist. And maybe it even goes beyond that. Like, you've suffered some real trauma in your life that you've got to clear. And all of that could be bottlenecked. So there's not, everybody has to go do this. Everybody doesn't have to go do this. You definitely need to make sure you're releasing things and having an appropriate mechanism. It's not the time to like go sit at lunch and complain to all your girlfriends. That's not what I'm talking. That's not healing.
That's not healing.
That's not healing. And I used to think to some degree that something had to be like wrong with you to really get therapy or counseling, but honestly, you guys, the world is so crazy and can lead us to being messed up and busy and overwhelming, and a lot. It is a lot that has happened in the world in the past several years, that we all need a safe place to be able to talk and share. And whatever that means, it could be your spouse, it could be a good friend, but it might need to be a skilled therapist or something even more.
Yeah. And there's so much more available that doesn't cost, $1 million to work through and to get some support. And it's about support. Being able to, having that community, having that conversation back and forth that feels so safe that you can actually be vulnerable without worry. And in this time, in this world right now, that's a very unique, difficult place to find. It's to feel super safe. And because the question of what we don't know in other people's lives and what they're thinking and what side their opinions fall on is difficult. And for me, the mindset is everybody's great. We're all human. We all need the same things. We all seek the same love, the same safety, the same food. We all need these core principles and these core things. Everything else is just nonsense. And so if we look at each other, and I'm going down a different road that Kellie and I didn't even talk about, but when we look at each other as that, it's like, this is just another human being that has the same needs I do. And practice kindness, just kindness to yourself first, because you got to we did this last week, you got to put the mask on yourself first, but then definitely give the mask to someone else.
Because really, Heidi, as a human being, we heal in community. Seeing somebody else, like my smile brings energy to Heidi's smile, right? Like you mirror each other. We actually need each other to heal. And I think that is true, that there really hasn't in most of our lives been a safe place, or we haven't recognized we really need to share until we get to the tipping point and we kind of have a breakdown, or I just like don't know what to do or where to go, because we haven't just had these safe outlets and things. And so this is part of true wellness, you guys, is having this community leading from your heart, like you said, Heidi, with honestly kindness, as humans and as these amazing souls that we all have, is creating a little safe space for each and every one of us, and not needing to be in a community that wants to just fix everything, because that's
Yeah.
not what it's about.
Right. Or ever in the sense feeling like everybody's doing it, so I should want to do it, but I hate every moment of it. For example, I've had people say, well, I go work out, but I hate the gym. I don't want to go in the gym. I'm like, well, then maybe let's find another way for you to get that same health benefit without going to a place that really just stirs up angst, negativity. I mean, how are we going to get the benefit from what you're doing if you're in an environment that you just intrinsically, I just don't like that environment. Okay, let's find a different one, right? And so, yeah, find the things, make it personal, make the choices where you're not compelled to do the trendy wellness because everyone's doing it, so I should. Find what is right for you, the right meal, the right portions of protein, the right type of exercise. And truly, as I see many, many people, everybody's different. No, I may say some of the things you'll hear me repeat over and over. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Sorry about that.
Horse
sorry,
donut, here we go.
Okay. That I may repeat over and over, but when I'm with somebody, it's very personalized. There's a general sort of, these are really good ideas, but how do those ideas fit and and connect with you to make true wellness, not trendy wellness, but what fits for you.
I really, really love that, you guys. And you know what I've also kind of seen is the availability of information today is like overload, meaning podcast, audiobook. Like before, there was no such thing as an audiobook. You had to sit and read the book. But now more people are accessing books because they're all like doing it on their walk while they're cooking dinner. You can't really read a book while you're walking or cooking dinner, but now we can because it's all through Audible or whatever your provider is. And it's the same thing with podcast. And so even if it's from an amazing source and the research is true, that doesn't mean it's for you.
Right.
Or the way it, right? Like, so that's where it can't be like, oh, this is what I heard, so I must do this. Be very careful. And that's really interesting. Let's see how that would benefit my life. Is this something, right? Like, ask good questions before you're just like, oh, I did this, so this is why I don't eat this anymore. I don't drink this anymore. Now before my workout, I do this. It could be great, you guys, but we want to arm you with things do come and go. Information is everywhere. And you need to ask yourself, am I really doing true wellness, or is some of this stuff just trendy? Really?
Yeah.
And it's a great question because you could be living thinking you're really doing wellness because it's what you want. But we kind of get caught up in the media, what's popular, your community, and you just do the do.
Mm-hmm. And one of those great examples, is the whole fat is bad story. Fat will make you fat. Cholesterol, you eat this, you're going to get high cholesterol and you will die. And yet we've, the research, we're able to look into these things again and review that science before, finding that there was some misinformation on that and maybe some not exact truths about some of the results of those. But even the newer, we don't have to prove that wrong, but the newer information says that's not so true. There's good fats and there's bad fats. But I still run into, especially women, who the idea of looking, when I say, oh, your plate should be about 30%, 40% good fat. I think they have a coronary just thinking about it. You want me to do what? I see my thighs growing right now and my heart clogging up at this very moment. What are you asking me to do?
You guys, who else feels that way? If you're listening to this, I hope you're chuckling with us, because come on. I used to tell my parents when I did not want to eat avocados. I'd be like, well, it's a good thing I don't like avocados because they're just fat anyways. I mean, that's what I said as a teenager.
Right. And we're finding out now, like olive oil will lower your cholesterol. How many, Mediterranean diets can be wrong? It's just, we're finding out all these wonderful things and benefits, massive benefits that fat will give us. The omegas we talked about last time, the good fat. So these are one of those things that, it was a trend. It was trendy. Don't eat fat. Don't eat fat. It was so ingrained, and even the food industry fed you that same information, no pun intended, fed you that same information so that you'd keep buying their product, and yet the people were dying from lack of these things, from lack of the good fats, from the lack of the omegas, that their cardiovascular was actually worse, not better. So trending information can change, but the secret is, like Kellie said, is how does it apply to you? How does it fit with your genetics, your makeup, your lifestyle? Make it personal, because it is about you.
It
Not
is
about
about
everyone.
you, and ask good questions. And I will tell you, I was on a coaching call this morning, and one of the ladies asked this question, and she said, we were talking about seeds and that putting like seeds on salad, things like that. And she was like, wait, but I wouldn't I thought sunflower oil is bad. I wouldn't eat sunflower seeds because sunflower oil is a bad oil. I'm like, such a great question, because we've just been talking about healthy options of oils and what oils not to be using, and learning the difference of oils versus whole foods, i.e. the actual nut itself, right? And that there are benefits to things, but a lot of times it's just, we're like 10xing stuff, 20xing stuff that's way too much. But sometimes we actually need a little bit of it. So it goes back to also the thing is, it's not all or none, 0 to 100 is this huge gray zone of a little of something is okay and why it is okay. And maybe the whole is okay, but when it's taken apart or something is not as good, okay. Right? Like, it was just such a great question.
Exactly. It's a great question. And when you think about it, if something has to be processed for us to consume it, the processing event, we lose nutrients. We lose benefit. The more it has to be processed, the more we lose the benefit. Sometimes we need some processing because our digestive tracts can't break it down, like holes, seed holes and things like that. But really, when you're talking about nuts and seeds, you want the rawest material, chew it slowly, crunch it yourself. There's so many benefits in that. The oils are a tough one. Olives are on this planet to give us olives and great oil. Avocados, another thing, but the nuts and things like that, it's the oils that are very minimal, but the actual seeds itself, we get the most benefit from.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so part of it, you guys, is Heidi and I always want to be here for you, of like, ask us questions, right? So always feel free. We will come on and we'll answer them like live and come on and answer them on the podcast. But if you want to ask them and answer them in person, we actually have some opportunities really coming up. I'd love to share with the community, because as we started this with, are you practicing trendy wellness or are you really honoring yourself in true wellness? There isn't always communities for true wellness. There's a lot of communities for trendy wellness, but not always true wellness. So we have a 6-month a women's health mastermind that is with a small group of women that literally want to leave no stone unturned to learn everything about their health, specifically designed for you, that we will help you create a unique blueprint, literally using your DNA and so much more. But if you're just like, well, can I just experience a little bit? I just want to like meet you guys. I just want to have more questions. Whatever. Come spend a day with us.
Yep.
We've got some exciting things happening. One, we're going to do in Orange County, California, and the other in Dallas, Texas. It's going to be a 1-day retreat that, again, we're going to be talking about weight loss and hormones and exercise, and have opportunities of literally ask us anything, like, what running shoes do you wear? What sort of water do you drink? Right? Like, we were talking about, what pet supplements do you give your pets? Anything. Exactly. It's open, you guys.
Yeah, because we know as women, you're worried about the whole community called your family, your kids, your pets, the bird, the dog, the cat, whatever. Come join us, get all these questions answered from toothpaste to hair color to what all that. We've done the legwork, so it's not sort of arbitrary answers. We've really had these questions to us over and over and over in our clinics. And if you're out there listening to a podcast to find out, well, I want to understand more about blood work, or listen to another podcast about what do I do about these hormones? And that podcast said this about that hormones, and that podcast said this about hormones. And then I read this about hormones, and there's three different, opinions on it. Come spend the time with us. Let's have a discussion about what's good for you, more personalized, more answers that you can count on because it's based on you, your feedback, your feelings, your lifestyle. Come join us. Hang out with us.
I know you guys have been to probably maybe a retreat before, right? It's like yoga or something. So imagine a unique experience similar to that, but in everything wellness, right? That you now have access to clinicians that can offer you a much broader scope. So we would love for you to truly experience a day with us, have fun, find a tribe of people that want to support you in living in true wellness.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, you guys. Well, as always, it's so fun to be here. Good to see you guys. We will be here next time. And we thank you as always.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Hope you got a couple of tidbits from this, and really think about joining us for at least the day event. If you just love us, join us for the whole mastermind, because you will not regret it. It will be amazing. It will be amazing for your health, for your life. You will walk away with so much better understanding of and answers, the tools for you, so you're not depending on anyone else to give you answers. We're going to teach you how to use those tools, and you come up with your answers, because it is about you. So come and join us. I can talk all day about it. I just get so excited when I think about it. Kellie and I both get excited about it, thinking this is going to be great. And what we actually are worried about is, oh no, are we going to cram too much in? Are they going to be overwhelmed? But we want to give you everything you need. So we're super excited, and come join us.
Come join us. You guys, all the details are going to be, down below. Just know our one-day retreats, there's limited spots of only 25 people per city. So it's already filling fast. So if at all you think like, I'm interested, I want in, we even have early bird pricing that will change in the next 2 weeks. So if you're ready, reach out to us, and we're excited to see you then.
Just let us know down below. All right. Take care, everyone. Be well.
Be well.